Hi there, Bonesby here. Veve looks like is coming out with Assassin's Creed. I should be so excited because I am a massive Assassin's Creed fan. Growing up, playing all the games, so cool. But I'm not too excited because guess what? This isn't the first time Ubisoft has tried to enter the Web3 space with the Assassin's Creed IP. They came out with something called Smart Collectibles, facilitated by IRL, that it would come out as you get a physical, you scan in your physical that you made, you created your Ezio, you created your Connor, you created your amazing assassins through a forge. And then you get the physical sent to your house, you scan it in, and you just minted an NFT you created. Well, this did not happen. And still to this day, the little community that is left, the die-hard Assassin's Creed fans, are left in limbo asking questions. What happened to the Assassin's Creed NFT project? Assassin's Creed. Like I said, was so excited when I found out that they were doing not just an NFT project, but a phygital NFT project, something called Smart Collectibles. As you see right here, IRL. IRL was the company that was going to be doing this project, right? And Integral Reality Labs. And the CEO of Integral Reality Labs has a pretty big resume. Jim Ward, he worked with Apple, Microsoft, Nike. He worked with George Lucas, Lucasfilms. He was the president of LucasArts, the video game company. So, it looked like Ubisoft entrusted this company to bring their number one, their most popular IP to the blockchain. And it was an utter disaster. And I must say that I stuck with it the whole time because, again, when I always say this about especially these passion, I find these projects that I love because it brings back so many memories from my childhood. This was for the experience. I wanted to experience this. I didn't want to flip this. It wasn't for the gains. I wanted to go on the journey of the Assassin's Creed Web3 project, and I wanted to see what it was all about because it wasn't just an NFT. It was a phygital as well. You were able to craft and make your assassin into a physical, as you see right here, one of the cubes, as I have one of the cubes right here, this cube that I got. Now this is supposed to be a smart collectible. Well, it's not so smart because this is all it is right now. This is all it is. And I feel like this is all it'll ever be. And I hate to say that. But again, we don't know because we are left in limbo. There has been open tickets for months. People that have forged this, that have still not got it, tickets open. People that have burned. So essentially you burn your NFT when you go into the forge. People that have burned their NFTs, lost their NFTs, and couldn't even forge. The forge is closed now. There is a lot of issues that they're not acknowledging. And as you can see, the last time they actually posted on here was in December 13. And they actually started doing Star Trek line, which near the end of the project here, it seemed like that failed. You know what I mean? They need to get more revenue. They wanted to get, so they decided to get the Star Trek line. I feel like it was from the other platform. They got the IP. You know what? Let's talk about that afterwards. But I had so much confidence in this brand, in this company. And as you can see, a lot of the times with these big companies, that their Web 2 experience obviously does not translate to Web 3 because it's just crazy how these massive IPs drop these NFTs on the blockchain and then leave them for dead and then just move on to, the next project that just to see if it works out and just leave these NFTs just to die and wither away on the blockchain. It's crazy. But let's just go through the project quickly on what this was all about. The Pieces of Eden. This was the first drop from IRL and Ubisoft. This was kind of like a founder's pass that was coming out on May 30th of last year. And then they eventually pushed it to June 6th because this was around the time that Assassin's Creed Mirage was coming out. And they didn't want to do it around that time, they said. So June 6th, it was going to be 1,500 mints at $200 USD. The mint went horribly wrong. It literally was a disaster. As you can see, this is the pieces of Eden. So these are all the artifacts, right? You have the shroud, you have the memory seal, you have the classic apple of Eden, and these are all animated. They're really cool. And this, like I said, was going to be like a founder's pass with multiple utilities. If you minted this founder's pass, we're going to get something called a wild soul. Now, this wild soul right here is something you got when you minted only the founder's pass, and you could redeem this soul for any one of the drops. So, Ezio, Connor, any of your favorite Assassin's Creed, you could say, okay, I want to transfer this soul into one of my any assassins, the highest rarity, and then you can put it into the forge, and you could dress up, you can make with any weapon you want and craft your assassin, and then you get it in the physical form. Super cool. And there's going to be a whole gamified thing with this. When you got your cube, right? When you got your cube, this cube here that you forged, I added, you could do the pose, you could do what weapon you want in his hand, you could do his outfit. It was really cool, the forge, that when you were doing it, as you can see on screen right now. And then once you get the cube, this cube has a chip. You have an app, you scan it in the app, and then it mints it to the blockchain. And now you own this physical, and then you own the NFT. And through the app, there was going to be a type of gamification where you would upgrade, your assassin, go through different activities and beyond. They're promising so much more with this. And it was cool because, Assassin's Creed, you make your own assassin, you have the physical, and then in the digital, you're going to be able to play with the exact thing you created. On paper, it sounds amazing. But again, it never happened. Currently, the app is not working. The app is gone from the App Store. I have the app on my phone just because I downloaded it when it was available. But when we got these cubes, couldn't even scan them. It doesn't even work. You can't even scan them in. And like I said, people are still waiting for cubes. People have NFTs that are lost. But again, if the company is not doing this anymore, then essentially, the app doesn't matter because they're not going to be, it's not a functioning app. It's just a shame. It's just a shame. So essentially what we're going to do is there was going to be these souls, and then these souls, as you can see, when you go for the drops, this one is Edward, right? So this is an Edward soul. So you could say that this is the FA Edward Assassin's Creed, right? This technically is, in this project, just a soul. It's a soul until you put it into the forge and you forge your assassin, and then you create your assassin. It comes to your house, and then once you scan it in, then you would have your Edward, right? So would you consider this the FA? It does say Edward, right? It says Edward on the blockchain. Who knows, right? It depends. Again, FAs, it's in reality, I believe it's all about utility, and this would have had some great utility, but obviously, the utility is non-existent because the company didn't go on with the project. So there was supposed to be 1,500 mints. As you could see, the mint went horribly wrong. We could not mint. It was a disaster. They ended up having to push out tickets, and then we show our receipts, and then they would send us the NFT. And as you could see, 232 were eventually minted out of the 1,500. Not good at all. And just from this initial mint in June of 2023, they lost like half of the community. They lost more than half of the community. And, only the real, even diehard fans they lost. But I was in there. I was so positive throughout the whole thing because I really wanted it to work. I really wanted it to turn around. I wanted to experience this Assassin's Creed project, but it was just such a disaster. Every decision they made was such a bad decision. It was crazy. So because they said, okay, guys, because you stuck with us and because you minted this pieces of Eden and, you support the project, we are going to airdrop you something called an IRL Wild Pass. So this is going to be a pass for IRL, right? For Integral Reality Labs. This pass will grant you a rare digital and physical for all future collabs, not just Assassin's Creed, they promised, and alpha products, alpha releases on products, whatever that means, some other. So they said if you mint, and it was still open, if you mint this thing, you're going to get the IRL pass a wild pass. It's going to be great. Guess what? The IRL wild pass never happened. We never even got that pass. They closed the mint, and as like I said, the mint came out to 232. And then they started rolling out the assassins, right? They started rolling out season 1 of the assassins. First, it was Edward and Ezio, 2,000 mints each. They rolled that out. It didn't go well. It was a disaster. Then Connor and Bayek was another mint that didn't go well at all. None of the mints went well because the core community was gone. Like the main everyone just from that first mint. So honestly, in these big projects, especially these, it's like if you fail on that first mint, it could decide the fate of your project. But if you're a strong team and you can persevere through it, you can pick up the project, and I think it could work out. But the problem is that I believe that a lot of these Web 2 companies jump into Web 3 without the proper team, without the proper technical know-how to enter the space, and they just want to make a profit. They just want to make money, and they realize once they're in it, they're in over their heads. So guess what? They're in over their heads because the technology on their site wasn't up to par to minting Web3 for the Forge. So what do? You're gonna love this. Some people already know this. They announce on June 23rd that they are going to partner with Recur. Okay, now if you are in Web3, you just know Recur literally rugged how many people of all these IPs, of all these projects, and they are literally just about to close up shop. And they say they're going to use Recur's technology and site to mint and to use the Forge. Now, there was something in the Discord called the Inner Circle, where it was kind of like we consulted, and they kind of like we had our opinions, and it was like a really cool little group of people, of diehard fans, that they gave us some alpha, and they let us know what was going on, and we could like speak our minds and kind of give them suggestions. Everyone in the community said, "Are you crazy? You going with Recur?" They did not listen. Obviously, they did not listen. And guess what happened? Recur closed down. And because of this, it really postponed the project even more, because now they had to take off all the assets. They had to take off the Forge and put it back on to their site. It was an utter disaster. So, just so many wrong moves. Again, let's say this. In July, right, they closed the mint for season 1. They closed them in for season 1 for Ezio and Edward. And then guess what? They decided to, they needed more money. They needed more funds. Let's reopen the mint for season 1, Ezio and Edward, just for the commons. So you can buy the commons, just buy them up. So guess what? So everyone that had a common that the mint was now closed is going to be, their commons are going to be now a higher mint. People were not happy. So they decided, okay, everyone who has commons that minted the original commons, we're going to upgrade it to rares. Okay. Now everyone with their rares, like, whoa. How our rares are not going to be so rare anymore. And then the next day they decided, okay, fine, we're not going to do it. We're just going to leave them all common. It literally, like every turn, it was such bad and poor management and poor decisions. It was crazy. And then Recur ended. They had to move the Forge, like I said. And then the last announcement on the Discord and on the IRL site was in December. They announced season 3 and 4 drops, and they said that there was going to be some Star Trek drops that was going to happen, where you get this you get the statue and you get these plaques. They came out with these new plaques and stuff for a cheaper entry point. And that was the end of it, right? And to this day, people are still in the Discord wondering what is going on, because there's open tickets. People have issues, and it looks like, obviously, the company is totally done with Ubisoft. If you go on their website, actually, they pulled, if you go to the store is completely empty. They pulled all the Ubisoft Assassin's Creed line. They pulled the Star Trek line. They pulled everything. You go to Art Products, you go to Star Trek Online, buy yours. There's absolutely nothing, right? So there's nothing on this site. They pulled everything. And yeah, it is just such because the community was being strung along this whole time, and they're saying we're working on it, we're working on it, we're working on it. And the biggest indication of when the company really started to fall was, in a lot of these Web3 projects, when they let go of all their mods in the Discord. Whenever you see that, that's not a good sign. And the mods were amazing. These mods were such an amazing part of the community. They helped us, kudos to them. But yeah, when they let go of those mods, that things are not going so well. Very unfortunate because, I wanted to have a very cool experience with these collectibles and you know what I mean? Like if you go onto the site here, we go to Ezio. So let's put in Ezio here. And then you see there's Ezio and Ezio from AC2. These are the wild souls. So these technically aren't actual, well, it's hard to say, right? Like to say that these are Ezio NFTs because in the lore of the company or of the project, these are souls, and then you craft them into Ezio. And then once you have your cube, you scan your cube in, and then you have your Ezio NFT. But on the blockchain and on the description, this is Ezio Common. So in reality, these are Ezio Ezio NFTs. I don't know. But then again, like I said, does it really matter, about this? Or are people going to care about, Veve? Now, Veve, I feel like that, Ubisoft now pivoted to Veve because the expectations are less, right? They don't have to be really right now interoperable or gamified. They just have the file. They gave it to Veve, and now we can collect, these cool characters, amazing characters. And then everything else is speculation, right? When you think about Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed on Veve, man, you get that feeling. You're like, oh my gosh, gamification. This is going to be awesome. But we still have yet to see any gamification on Veve or the Veveverse. But if it would come, it would be with Ubisoft. You would think a AAA gaming studio. But what does that say about, companies like Ubisoft, a AAA gaming studio that literally comes in to Web3 with their biggest IP, and then just, the project dies and just leaves it left for dead on the blockchain and just moves on to the next thing, right? Doesn't get not a lot of confidence in these big companies, right? It's just a shame because I feel so bad for the community, and like I want to have fun with this whole experience. We don't know on Veve what kind of collectibles it's going to be. Is it going to be a collectible? Are they going to be artifacts, right? They could be artifacts. They could be like the apples, which is like the Apple of Eden is like is the major artifact, is like the main artifact. Shrouds of Eden, there is skulls, the crystal skulls. There's the swords too. There's the staff. Where is it here? The memory seal, the Grand Temple memory. So it could be artifacts, right? It could be Ezio. Ezio is the best, right? So everyone's always saying Ezio. Let's wait and see what Veve has in store for these Assassin's Creed line. It's super exciting, but it's just a shame because when I saw the announcement from Veve, I was like, oh boy, like this brings, I have to make a video now about this because I've wanted to make a video about this because I just don't understand how these companies can just leave these, this is like one of their biggest IPs, just leave it for dead, just left for dead on the blockchain. Again, in the Discord, they said that they're still working and they're still working on approvals with Ubisoft to see if they can approve, whatever. But you go into the Discord, speak about the Wild Wild West. That Discord is the Wild Wild West because when you start to see links from malicious people being posted in the Discord and not taken down, that it's really left for dead. The project left for dead. Not cool. But with Veve, who knows what's going to happen? How easy would it be, right, for Ubisoft, right? They did it with Disney when they launched the partner statue with the Disney Plus subscriptions. What is it to say that if it's speculation that if you have, maybe you buy one of these Assassin's Creed collectibles or artifacts or whatever it is, that maybe they send you an email and you get a discount, or you were able to use that collectible inside one of the games. You get a redeem code for like PlayStation or something. Who knows, right? Anything's possible in the future. But again, right now, it's collect what you love. Collect what you love. I love Assassin's Creed. I just have a bad taste in my mouth now from Ubisoft and Web3, to be honest. Because it's just, again, it's a shame. But let's see what Veve has in store for this. It is still very exciting that they're getting the Assassin's Creed line, and let's see what this drop has in store for us. So there it is. There is my experience with the IRL Smart Collectibles Assassin's Creed project. Were you ever involved in this project? Let me know in the comments down below, and let's wait and see what this new Veve drop has in store for us with Assassin's Creed. Who knows? Anything is possible. But again, never buy on speculation to be safe, right? Never buy on speculation and gamification. Just buy the stuff you love. That is the best way to do it, I think, anyways. As always, thanks for watching. Bones B.